Welcome to another episode of La Ventanita, the Miami Herald's food podcast. I'm Carlos Frías, and I'm here with Amy Reyes, like every week.
Hi.
What's going on?
Oh, nothing. I just have to know how many burgers you ate last Friday.
You know what's the best part of the Burger Bash at the South Beach Food and Wine Festival is that this year they split it up into two sessions, so the lines are not as long as they usually are.
Oh, that's great.
No, I mean really, they should keep it this way, and I think they're going to, even after everything goes back to normal, because it's very reasonable. The thing that I hated the most about that event is that there were 4,000 people climbing over each other
To get to that one burger.
Yes, to get to that one burger. And then you saw the line, and it was 70 people deep.
And you're like, I don't want a burger that bad.
I had FOMO. Like, I paid $500 and I have FOMO. That's just wrong.
Yeah. I agree. I think that like if that's a way for everybody to get their burger, get in and out, and vote, then I think that's a really smart way to do it.
I want to say that I tried the most burgers that I have in any of the times that I've been to that event, because the lines were reasonable.
Did you do the burger spitting? Like, would you like take a bite and then spit it out? 'Cause, like I
Like
get to
the
the
wine
point when I'm
tasting?
at those events where I'm just like walking around and I'm like, I want to taste this, but I don't want to eat any more food. So I just be like,
Can I tell you, I come from the school that like when I go to order a beer or when I go to the ice cream shop to get ice cream, I just consider my choices and then I make the best decision. Because like, what's the worst case scenario? Like, oh man, I spent $8 on something that I liked versus something that I could have really liked. I don't know. I've come around on that and been just, be low maintenance. Like,
well,
have a take,
my
be low
strategy for
maintenance.
those events is you have to go starving. First of all, you have to be like dying, and you have to pace yourself. Because I went to the Croqueta and Champagne event once, and like I started full on just double fisting croquetas out the gate. I was just like, I'm eating all the croquetas, and then by the third vendor, I was like, let's get the heck out of here. I'm stuffed. Like I couldn't anymore.
Yeah, it's
then,
what do they call when they feed the duck so that their liver gets fat? The gravage. That's what it feels like.
Yes,
when I'm there, I'm like, oh, I'm willfully making my liver fat and delicious.
No, and the Chicken Coop event, everything is always amazing at Chicken Coop. Like all the food is amazing. Like you're not there to give away bad fried chicken. Like nobody came with bad fried chicken to a Chicken Coop ever. And so like you really just have to be like, okay, I taste the pickle, I taste the bread, I taste the chicken. Okay, now I'm gonna go to the next one. You really have to focus. You have to have your head in the game for those South Beach Wine and Food Festival events.
Well, I feel like we're learning how to do these events better now.
Yeah, we'll master it one day.
So we're gonna talk about some stuff today. We got the Burger Bash winner was Burger Bob's, and they have an issue with the city of Coral Gables. We're going to talk about this new thing that's opening called Smorgasburg, which is basically they took all the pop-ups in Miami and they put them in one place, like Wolf of Tacos and Ted's Burgers that won the South Beach the Burger Bash last year. They're putting them all in one place. That's happening tonight, so I think I'm going to go out there with Connie. Connie Ogle's definitely going. So and then we're going to talk about
to eat. I'm telling you, use the spitting method. Chew. Taste.
I feel bad.
Like there's like 40 vendors. There's no way you're gonna get through it.
I feel bad. I feel bad doing that. Like that. Like my Cuban immigrant parents are like in the back of my mind.
Treat this food like wine, man. Just be like,
I can't do it.
You need a spitting bucket.
I can't do it. So listen, we have a cool guest today because I think it's timely. The James Beard Awards or rather the nominations were announced last week, and among those was one of the best new restaurants in the country was named here. They named 30 spots in the country that are nominated for basically one award. But this one really caught my attention, when we wrote about it last year. So I wanted to have their chef on. So today our guest is Pablo Zitzmann. Pablo started making dim sum out of his Kendall condo when he got laid off during the pandemic.
Oh, he's from Kendall? Hello? Is there a theme to our podcast?
Well, our podcast it's only Kendall. So the restaurant that he opened since has been named one of the best in the country. He named it after himself, Zitzsum. because he needed a quick name for his Instagram handle, which is where he started
Very catchy.
selling. Yeah, it's where he started selling. But it's interesting because he made Chinese dim sum, which is basically what you'd call like lunch portions. You know, and dim sum in Chinese are kind of lunch portions. He made dim sum different and authentic to him because it's got Latin American flavors and different Latin American styles of cooking because he's from Bogota, Colombia, and his grandmother's Mexican. And it was his dad who taught him to love these little hidden Chinese restaurants, like in alleyways in Bogota. That's like where they would bond. And it's they were tucked in, hidden little places, kind of like how his restaurant is now. And I want to ask him about that, and also how he almost ended up in a punk rock band. I don't know, maybe, possibly. Pablo,
Yeah.
what's going on, brother?
What's going on, guys? I hear about this burgers and I'm hungry already. So
Uh-oh. Well,
You
me
know,
and
we
Carlos
got-
broke up with food this week because of the gluttony. So we're both intermittent fasting until
Yeah.
noon. So I'm already
Yeah.
hangry.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
just
there's-
coffee. It's just coffee
there's-
right now until
there's
noon.
a lot of cool burger joints over here in Gables. So we're taking care of in that regard.
Hey, Coral Gables is blowing up. Like I looked at that James Beard list, and it's you, Neva
Yep.
Patel, who's got
Yep.
2 restaurants there. Who else was in there that we saw?
Antonio Bashor
Right, Bashur, Antonio Bashur, who's got.
and Michelle Bernstein. She's opening a joint. over
She's
here in
opening.
Gables.
She's opening a new version of Senora
Martinez?
Martinez. Yes.
Wow,
So-
that's crazy. I used to be a line cook at Senora Martinez.
you used to do what at there?
I was a line cook at Senora Martinez at some point. in my
Really?
career.
Wow.
Yeah.
Senora Martinez was an interesting spot because they were in that beautiful building in the design district when the
Yeah.
design district was still like you
I mean,
could
they're-
still go there without running into a Lamborghini. I think.
Yeah, it was
Yeah, there
medio
were-
bougie, but not like super bougie how it is
There were
now.
two restaurants. No, actually, like 3. There was an Italian restaurant. I don't remember the name. And then Michael Genuine, the OG, and of course Senora Martinez. And then just like between both of them, they just like blew everything out of proportion. They just made what that neighborhood is right now is thanks to Michael Schwartz and Bashir Bernstein for sure.
Well, Michael Schwartz he's nominated for James Beard for Outstanding Chef, which that award goes to a chef who's influenced other cooks and other chefs. And like the line of people that have gone through there is as long as except
Amazing.
Michael Beltran, who's also nominated, and
Yeah.
from Ariete.
Yeah.
But we're not here to talk about Michael Beltran. He's got his own podcast. He can talk about Michael Beltran all he wants. We'll talk to him at another point if he's nice, if he's good, which he will never be. We should treat Mike like Matt Damon, oh we ran out
We're gonna bump him.
of show, we ran out of time on the show. We'll try to have him on next week.
Love you, Mike.
Óyeme, so
Dímelo.
dim sum. Tú eres un colombiano. You're Colombian born. You got a Mexican grandmother. You've got a German last name, and I'm going to ask you to speak some German. But you decided to open a Chinese inspired or Chinese style dim sum restaurant.
Yeah.
What's up with that?
Yeah, I mean, Zitzsum, it's more than just like a Chinese restaurant per se. It's like an Asian-inspired restaurant. The focus is very hardcore into dim sum, which is one of my favorite things. And opening the restaurant was just something circumstantial. I was opening a couple properties and opening a couple restaurants before the pandemic. And, as everybody knows, pandemic happened and affected everybody in a different way. And on our household, I was left out without a job.
Your wife is also a chef, right? A pastry chef.
She's a pastry chef. Yes, she's a pastry chef. She's amazing. Right now, she's got her own cookie and cake company, and she does like custom design cakes and stuff like that. She works over here as well. She does everything. She takes care of the 2 kids at home, and without her, we wouldn't be where we are right now. And so lost my job, and I was like, okay, what am I gonna do? I'm not gonna wait for unemployment. I am not going to wait for anything. There's bills that we gotta pay, and we gotta take care of the kids. So I used to be a chef of a Chinese restaurant, known in Chinese in South Miami, that abruptly closed 3.5 almost 4 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. Um, and I was the one running the social media for that restaurant for quite some time. So for some reason, I never closed down that Instagram account. And 2, 3 years passed by. I'm sitting down in COVID times in my balcony talking to Natalia, and I was like, I'm gonna do something really impulsive right now. And I just took the No Name Chinese Instagram account and I posted, "We're coming back." I had absolutely no idea what I was doing. It was probably one of the most impulsive things I've ever done. But then I started thinking, okay, now I put it out there, so now I have to do something about it. So
You were like
I
manifest
just
destiny. You were like, if I force
If I build
myself
it,
to
they
do
will
this,
come.
right?
I,
Exactly.
I had to do something, and it was just like, and also like my brain needed to be doing something. I can't stay still, right? So then I took a look at the last menu from the restaurant because the restaurant, thankfully, had a good following. And I basically took like 5 things that we had on the menu by the time that the restaurant shut down. And I was like, guys, I'm going to be selling frozen dumplings from my house. I'm going to be selling fried rice. And I'm going to be selling beef and broccoli and some desserts and whatever I was able to come up with. I posted this little menu and I was like, okay, if 1, 2, 3 people order from it, some of my friends, some of my family members, at least I'm going to be able to, go to buy masks and go to do grocery shopping and just figure out what's going to happen next. And 5 orders started coming in, 10 orders started coming in, 20 orders, 30, 40. We're doing about 50 orders a day.
And pretty soon, if I remember correctly, there was a line of people outside
Yeah.
of your condo, like in the garage,
Yeah, it
and
was
you're
nuts, nuts.
like, I'm sure the security guards were like, "What is going
Yeah.
on here
Yeah,
exactly?"
it was kind of funny because I was prepping. I was going to restaurant people early in the morning. We're talking about 5, 6 a.m. in the morning. Going back to the apartment, do all the prep, start rolling dumplings. The kids are running around. By that time, my son was 5 and our daughter was 1 year old. So they're screaming, fighting. They're not understanding what's going on. We got orders coming in left and right. Instagram blowing up. Friends like, helping me do logos and designs and menus, and everyone was just like cooperating and everyone was just supporting the cause. Um, and then around 5 p.m., I was loading up my minivan and I was just driving down from the parking, and I was just like on the Uber pickup drop off situation on the building. Back then, I was just like lifting the the thing in my car, and people were coming in and they were picking up the orders. Um, and like I said, it was 10 people, and then 10 people became 20, and then 20 people became 30, and we kind of created this, like, and then it created by itself, but we had this demand of people that we were giving them what they were missing from that restaurant. That made me also realize the impact of what that restaurant had in a lot of people, which was amazing because back then I was not able to see and grasp the impact that we had with the locals and with a lot of the people that they were around that restaurant and all the friends in the industry, all the chefs, all the cooks. So, it was just awesome.
How long did it take before it really became like a thing where you guys were like, oh wow, this is something we could do this for a while. We're gonna be fine.
The first week was nuts. I'm not going to do this again. I'm going to try to figure what to do. And then Natalia was the one. She pushed me to keep doing it. And I was pretty much cooking food for 40, 50 people. We were rolling between 300 and 600 dumplings a day. 4 different types of dumplings, not just one. Doing fried rice out of this little stove, electric stove. My rice cooker was 2 quarts at a time. And I think that it took at least 3 to 4 weeks to actually just be like, okay, let's just do this. So then I bought a mini fridge. And then that mini fridge became a bigger fridge, and that bigger fridge became another fridge. So we ended up putting fridges in our closets, sanitizer buckets, trying to be as clean as professional as we could. Very illegal. And I had people that they thought that we were actually a real restaurant, and they were not reading the Instagram. They were just like seeing the hype, and they were ordering. So when they were coming to pick up the things, and they were seeing. They saw me on my car. They were like, "Well, where's your restaurant?" Like, I don't have a restaurant. I'm unemployed. I'm doing this out of my house. But how can you do that from your house? I'm like, come on, man. Whatever.
Cottage industry law.
COVID.
Cottage industry law, man. You can
Yeah.
make stuff out of your house.
That's exactly the angle that I took. That I took that thing. And we just started like planting seeds. Like actually having a restaurant was not part of the plan. It was everything just happened very naturally. Everything just happened very organically.
It was
we were
a
just
fan.
going day by day. Yeah.
Right?
It was someone. It was someone from the industry. We were going to take over another restaurant, another space over here in Coral Gables before that. And my idea was to create like an Asian market, wine shop and beer, like a beer and wine Asian market. That couldn't happen because of a lot of reasons. So we went back home to keep doing the thing that we were doing, trying to figure out what was next. That was during the second lockdown. And then an acquaintance, someone that I know from the business, a real estate agent, he ordered food from me a couple times. And he's like, "Hey, I got this really cool guys that, they have a space available. They want to meet you. Why don't you talk to them and see what you guys can do?" And then I came to a location where Zitzsum is at right now. And we spoke. We went back and forth a couple months. I was very hesitant because of the state of how everything was in the world back then, trying to figure out a way how to come up with funds to eventually open the restaurant, raising capital, just like doing the whole thing. And then I was very scared. It was actually my first solo venture.
It was what I thought was interesting is that it's the opposite of like, these big money backed restaurants. They spend 6 months doing PR before the restaurant opens, and your restaurant opened without a sign inside of a building in a lobby where two banks are. It's like I was looking for it, and it took me 10 minutes to find it.
Yeah, and a lot of people complain about it, but then
if you know, you know.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and like the main thing, it was just like something that I just needed to do something catchy for the pandemic. And then like that legwork that you just said, the 6 months of PR that you just mentioned about some other restaurants, that it's necessary. We actually did that during the 6 months or a year from the pandemic. We just created this natural and organic brand. That it was very us, like the way that the logo is designed, the way that we were, like the language that we were speaking on social media, the music that we were putting on the videos, the way that we were communicating with everybody was very us. There was a defined personality in that. So when we came to look at the restaurant, and when we came to just do the thing, we had a choice to basically come and pretty much open the restaurant the way that the restaurant was left. This used to be a bakery before. But I chose to wait and try to remodel as much as possible. So between Natalia and two more friends, we just basically remodeled by ourselves without a GC, without a designer, without anything crazy.
You basically just went to IKEA with about $2,000, right? And Home Depot, IKEA, Home Depot, and $2,000.
Yeah.
It's like it sounds like guys' grocery games or some kind of like Food Network contest.
We had to be really, really resourceful, because to me the most important thing was, if this is going to work and we're rolling the dice, we need to make sure that we have enough operating capital to be able to open the restaurant. So if I'm blowing all the money just like on back then to me were unnecessary things, then I'm not going to be able to train people, and I'm not going to be able to do all the things that I have to do. So between collections of plates that I had at home, Guido, one of the guys that works in the kitchen, he also had a bunch of plates that he had purchased for pop-up dinners. We had mismatched silverware, mixed matched glassware, mixed matched everything. We just opened the restaurant like that. You know, the chairs. We went to IKEA and we just basically bought a bunch of fabric, and my wife was 2, 3 a.m. in the morning cutting the fabric, doing the chairs. I was painting the chairs on the garage. Um, just building something like slowly, you know, just letting the thing just happen by itself. And we were able to bring on 90% of the staff that we had at No Name Chinese that had closed down 2 years before we opened
Oh wow.
Zitzsum,
And
which is
you did
amazing.
and you did something. Yeah, I thought it was interesting. You walk in you're just surrounded by people that you had worked with for
Yeah,
years,
yeah,
and it's like that. That's part of like that team mentality. It definitely like translates to the food and let's talk about the food because I think it's really interesting because dim sum you think traditional Chinese, traditional ingredients, but you did something really different, which is you incorporated a lot of your background, the
yeah,
Colombian, the Mexican, into like Latin flavors in this
yeah,
kind of food. Tell me about
yeah.
that and like that balance of, because people do say, oh, is this like an appropriation? Because that happens. People do
Yeah,
appropriate a thing,
yeah, for sure.
and so
Cultural
like,
appropriation is, yeah. So one of the things that we always battle is, I mean, the people come here and they're looking for the Chinese chef, right? And they're always asking, are there any Chinese or Asian, employees here? Is this authentic? This is not authentic. Um, the only thing that I can say about that is that on my end, what we did, thanks to No Name Chinese and thanks to their business partners and thanks to all the connections that we have done throughout the years, I was able to go to China and I was able to work in Hawaii with the OG master dim sum chefs, right?
that's
I learned a way how to roll proper dumplings. I learned a way how to do the proper fillings. I got tested by them day in and day out. I spent months working with them, and I was the only um, non-Chinese or non-Asian guy in the kitchen rolling dumplings with this guys at 5 a.m. in the morning at a Chinese food hall in Hawaii. Um,
what was the name of that chef in that place? Because I'm sure
so
many
his
people
name,
in the
his
industry.
name, I call him Master Lee, and he was the Royal Garden in Hawaii, in Honolulu. He is the father of a really good friend of someone that I knew, so we just got connected that way. I knocked on the door, I got recommended, and I was like, hey, I want to come here, I want to learn. And they were like, what do you mean? Like, you want to learn from us? Like, what we do is nothing special. And me was like, yeah, it's actually really special. It's actually really cool. And I just want to learn from you guys. So they accepted me. The first mornings were pretty rough because, of course, I don't speak Mandarin. Their way of appreciating me being there and helping them, because for them, I was helping them. They were not helping me. They were making me breakfast and tea every morning. And we were just rolling dumplings, and I was just learning from them. On my days off, I was going to Mr. Lee's house, um, and we were at the yard drinking beers and folding dumplings the whole morning. And he gave me the approval of doing dim sum. Um, he was the one who told me that I was ready. He was the one that approved what I was doing. So when you actually look at it, Carlos, it's like they're very excited about the fact that there's someone that is not from their culture that's very interested in the things that they do. And the fact that I took the time not only to respect it but to learn about it, to know how to do it the right way and kind of like make it my own. Um, I don't believe that that's cultural appropriation. I actually believe that it's just like cultural appreciation. And we have a lot of Asian people, old timers, young people that they come here to the restaurant all the time. Some of them understand it, some of them don't. Some of them like it. For some of them, it's a little too edgy. But at the end of the day, just getting the blessing from Mr. Lee, his family, he's a dim sum master, all the guys that were around me, all the teachers, all the people that taught me. Like I said, I don't think it's cultural appropriation. I think that it's cultural appreciation. And on our end, what we try to do here at the restaurant is making sure that we're respecting the way how to do those things, right? We're not doing a fusion of things because we're just doing juxtapositions of things, right? I am taking something that's very, very me, and the flavors that I grew up with, the Colombian flavors, some Mexican flavors, a lot of German flavors, a lot of Latin American flavors, Italian flavors, which is my favorite food, and kind of like inspiring myself with the things that I like using the things that I was taught. So without just going into a rumble, that's pretty much it. Sorry about the phone. The phone hasn't stopped
Yeah,
ringing,
I mean,
which is a blessing,
People
no,
are
no.
putting in their orders.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
for folks who are hearing this on the audio podcast,
Yeah.
you're doing this from your restaurant, which
Yeah,
is
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm sitting down.
you-
I'm the only one right now. There's two prep cooks over there. So yeah, so that's what it is, And dim
I
sum
like I like
means
I like that idea that idea that it's appreciating this culture and
yeah,
what
yeah,
you can deliver in dim sum, and then Miami, I think, is a place where something like this, it could only exist in Miami, right? Where you have this meeting
yeah,
of different flavors, of different backgrounds and
yeah,
cultures, and there's Chinese communities throughout the Caribbean,
yeah.
are very common from
Jamaica, for
Venezuela,
example. Yeah,
Jamaica, Cuba,
yeah, man.
so
And
anyway,
And
so
and
it's very cool.
Peru,
Peru,
Asian food
obviously.
is really, really, really intertwined
yeah,
with
man.
Peruvian.
You got Nikkei, you got Chifas, you have all those things. Of course, I am a Colombian dude has some German blood on him, and I pretty much have been living half of my life, a little bit more than half of my life here in Miami. Um, it's kind of odd and weird to this guy has an Asian restaurant, and yes, of course, when we opened Zitzsum, that we tried to come up with different names at the end of the day, but we just like stuck with it. When we opened the restaurant, we're like, we don't want to be another Chinese restaurant either because we don't want to fall into that thing. We just want to have a restaurant that is Asian inspired. And I love Vietnamese food. I love Korean food. I love Laotian food. I love Thai. Some of the guys in the kitchen love a lot of Japanese food. I worked at Nobu, so I worked with a lot of Nobu chefs, and like my background is very, 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 very Japanese. I worked with Chef John Georges Marguerite, which even though that he's French, a lot of his food is actually very Thai and very Vietnamese oriented because of the places that he grew up and the places that he worked at. So grabbing kind of like all those things, we decided to just do a restaurant that it was very Pablo and Natalia, and that it was very just like all the things that we love, and that's where we are.
Pablo, let me ask you something, because people think that a restaurant like this, and it really has taken off. I mean, I think it's one of my favorite new restaurants down here, and
Thank you.
it's
Thank you,
no
Carlos.
surprise that other people have discovered it. People would think, oh, now you're just making money hand over fist, and you have reservations every night. And I think you and I had a kind of a conversation offline about what the reservations have been like,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh yeah, one night I had 68 cancellations.
Yeah.
So there's this. Like that just hit me so hard that
Yeah.
so people had made reservations on your
Yeah.
website,
Yeah.
and then the day of their dinners, either they didn't show up or they
Yeah.
canceled. Usually it's
Wait,
no
but
show, right?
how many tables do you have? Like, what does 68 cancellations mean for your night?
I mean, just to kind of give you a little bit of perspective, we have 36 seats inside of the restaurant, right? I mean, we have some outdoor dining as well.
So that's
On and
basically
on.
two. That's like 2 hours of seating right there.
Yeah, correct. So yes, so since
That's
we
a
opened the
killer.
restaurant,
That's a killer.
it is, but at the same time, we have learned how to navigate that. There is a trend, right? And I don't think that it only happens over here at Zitzsum. I think it just happens everywhere. Guests and people, I call this the Amazon effect. I don't know if that's real. I just gave it that name. You go on Amazon and you add a bunch of stuff to your cart. Do you think that you want, and then later on the week you decide exactly what you want, and that is exactly what happens with diners. I think everywhere, right?
Meaning that they make reservations.
Yeah.
At
So
more than
basically,
one
just
restaurant.
people.
And
Correct.
like
It's
5 different places, and they're like,
Hey
I'm gonna
guys,
go to this one.
exactly. Hey guys, we're going out on Friday night. A group of 4 people. Okay, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want? Perfect. Let's just make reservations to all the places that we want to check out, and at the end of the week, let's just decide where to go, right? or they see that you're on media, they see that you're on the newspapers, there's a little bit of hype about the restaurants. They're like, hey, I want to go and check this place out. Let me just make a reservation before I forget. And then they realize that they live in Miami Beach, or in Coral Gables is too far of a drive. They decided to not to show up, right? So since we have opened the restaurant, thankfully, things have been kind of like it's always been a good progress, right? At this very moment, we're very lucky, and we've been very lucky that our restaurant is busy almost every single day. It hurts me sometimes to turn people away, but what we're doing is we're focusing on making sure that we provide quality to everybody. And something that I talked to Diana, our amazing general manager, is that I don't want to do a lot of covers. I don't want to sit a lot of people. We have to cap it. So we've done it, and we almost do it every single weekend. We do between 130, 140 people with takeout included. And it just puts the kitchen into a lot of stress, right? Puts the service into a lot of stress. So what we do is we cap it. We don't want to do more than 90 covers, and that's where we cap it. So we have a wait list. We have people that make a reservation, which blows my mind, 2-3 weeks in advance for dumplings, for dim sum, right? So it's.
And the bummer is that people will make a reservation, right? They maybe will cancel it, or they'll get a kill fee, right? Like in writing, we call it a kill fee. But if they get a kill fee, I would say they have a kill fee, which you kind of cover your potential losses. But the truth is, then that's somebody else who would have wanted to be in there,
right?
Yeah,
now just didn't get that chance, which is a bummer,
And that's what it is. So, for example, that day you and me were talking about it, that I sent you a screenshot. It's like perfect. We did 124 people that day, which is great. Sales were great. Covers were great. Guest experience was great. But there were 68 people that couldn't or didn't want to make it over here. So we treated it in a case by case scenario. For example, if people pretty much they don't pick up the phone, they just don't show, we have a cancellation fee. Of course, if they call you 2 hours in advance and they're like, yeah, I'm not going to be able to make it, don't worry about it. Sometimes people cancel online. We have the demand, but at the same time is always the hustle and the fight, making sure that we're filling in all those gaps. And it's kind of funny and not funny at the same time. Sometimes you prepare, you're like, okay, perfect, I got 120 reservations. All right, guys, we're going to do 700 dumplings, and then half of those people don't show up, then you're like, all right, cool. And the thing is that we don't dumplings? And the kitchen's pretty small. Like, we don't have a walk-in cooler. We have a big cooler, and that's where we fit everything. We prep everything fresh every single day. We're here rolling dumplings at 7 a.m. in the morning, and we're just like, just making it happen.
You think this is a Miami problem, or you think this is just a big city problem?
I've heard from a lot of people in Miami and outside Miami that that's just a trend. I still think that even though that people like to support independent restaurants and small businesses and stuff like that, I just think that we're still in a very consumer-driven market, and that mentality is just like it kills a lot of things, right? So the guests. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to ask you. It's at the restaurant. It's you and your wife. Your wife is there a lot, even though she also has a side business, baking. Your kids, I know you've told me the kids want to go with you to the restaurant. So you guys spend so much time in the restaurant cooking and making. I'm curious what your life at home looks like. Like, okay. Do you cook at home? What do you cook? Like when you have to apologize to your wife with food.
Yeah.
When you want to sweep her off her feet, what do you cook for her? What do you cook for the kids when you want to get their attention?
So right now, of course, like when we opened the restaurant, the whole dream was to have Natalia in the front and me in the kitchen. And I thought, okay, we're just going to have another cook. We're going to serve 30 people. It's going to be okay. We don't need a lot of staff. And then boom, we have 23 employees, which is nuts, right? So right now what Nati's doing is she's doing the most hardcore job, and she's doing the most important thing in order for us to keep the business, that she's taking care of the kids. So she's doing her thing with the kids, and she's doing the thing with her company, right? And we have the team over here just like doing everything. A day in my life, I wake up at 7 a.m. in the morning, 8 a.m. in the morning, for the most part, taking the kid to school. If Natalia's not taking him to school, and then just come here to a restaurant. I work 5, 6 days a week. When I'm at home, I don't want to cook. It's
What do you do
always
then?
it's always
You
a
just bring
fight.
home
Who's
leftovers.
cooking? Not even. It's just like, we moved to a house, so now we have a patio. So now I'm able to do barbecue. So my kids, especially Nico, he loves when I barbecue. So I make it a point that at least on Sundays I'm out there and we're grilling, we're having a good time.
What are you
Uh,
making? What are you grilling? What's on your cue?
ribeye, ribeye, which is my favorite cut of meat. Natalia likes a tenderloin, so I make a medium well tenderloin for her because she doesn't like it bloody.
Oof,
And
medium
vegetables.
well.
Yeah, she
Come
kills it,
on,
but
man. Pablo,
Oh,
that's
háblale. Es que
stop hating. Let her have her meat cooked.
she's Latin American. The Latin
Let her
Americans
happy,
let her have her meat
their
cooked.
meat. I know, like my
happy wife,
parents.
happy life, brother.
That's it.
You
You
know,
know, you're not
and
wrong.
He knows the drill.
He knows.
and we have this little pizza oven. We do some pizzas every now and then.
Do you have one of
But
those unis? Is that what you have?
yeah, it's called a rock box.
I have an uni,
Um,
and I
yeah,
it's
yeah. So one of my
those things. They look fantastic, but you're if they're wood fired, you have to be on top of them. You're feeding it
dude, it's
wood.
crazy.
You're making the
Yeah,
dough. You're coming back. You're feeding more wood.
yeah,
The pizza comes out great, but you have to be on
yeah.
top of them.
Yeah, the stuff is it's fun. We've used it a couple times because I really don't have time. And we try to do outdoor activities. We go out. Nati is not very like she likes very simple, very clean food. So it's always this fight with us, like, where you want to go to eat? Where you want to go to eat? No, I want to go this. I want to go to other restaurants. She's like, no, man, I just want to stay home. I just want to relax. So I don't cook at home at all. All right, I'm cooking 5 days a week, 80 hours, 90 hours between those 5 days. Between preparing, running service, doing all those things, the last thing that I want to do is to grab a knife and cook at home.
Well, let me ask you then.
Yeah,
Then if cooking is off the table, I know that I like cooking at home.
yeah,
For the kids because it's kind of a relaxation thing. But for you, I know that music was a big part of your life.
yeah,
Like you used to be in a punk
yeah,
band. Tell
yeah.
me about that, and tell me about whether you still appreciate music, whether you still make room for it in your life.
I mean, music for me is everything. I think that one of the things that I focus on a lot here in the restaurant is, for example, a playlist. I want to make sure that it's a playlist that is cohesive with what we do, what the restaurant is. Of course, I'm not going to be blasting punk rock here all the time. There's a couple songs that I sneak in every now and then.
Like what?
Uh,
What do you sneak in? What band or what music
there's
are you?
there's this playlist that we have that some of my guys they don't like it. Because we have like three different playlists that I've been curating for a year and a half. And the one that I like the most has like the Clash, the Damned, some of the Ramones, a bit more of a new punk era too. So I choose the softest songs from those bands and I kind of like put them on the playlist. And I love it because sometimes I walk out to talk to guests and stuff like that, and there's like people like, "Hey, I love this song. This is great." So it's good that when people come in and they see the vibe, they see the employees, it's more relaxed. The playlist makes sense. The food is spicy. The music is a little loud. It has a strong personality, right? Um, and yeah, I mean, I've been a lover of punk rock and heavy metal as far as I can remember.
That adds to the ambiance of a restaurant, right? Like it
Yeah,
adds to the like that's as much part of a mood of a place as the food
yeah,
and the service. It's like this
yeah, for
extra
sure.
layer of like third space, not home,
Yeah,
not work, this third space feeling.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And I used to play in a couple bands. I was a very bad drummer at this band. I was also singing or screaming on another band, and of course, if it was not that, it was skateboarding. I wish I would have pursued one or the other. Those are my
So
passions.
all this punk rockishness is happening in Colombia. This happened when you were a kid in Colombia.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in Colombia. I moved over here when I was 18 years old. I'm 34 now. And yeah, I mean, I pretty much like my mom and my dad. They have very good taste in music, especially my mom. And when I was growing up, I was always listening to cool things that she was listening to. And then eventually, I started like going out and skateboarding. And when you're skateboarding, you're passing around mixtapes, and it's like, hey, check this band, check this band. Before we had cassettes, and then after that, it was the CDs and things of that nature. So I grew up in Colombia, going to punk rock shows and around the punk rock community, which is very like it was a very like amazing community because everything's kind of like do it yourself and community driven and very cool. So I think that a lot of those things that I learned from those days are still with me very, very much. The way that I approach things and the way that I think about things and the way that I do things by myself and the way that I look sometimes.
What T-shirt
Yeah,
are you wearing? Are you rocking a?
No. I got this Target T-shirts with a pocket over here, and
How far
it's like,
we've come from 18 to 34. I've got a nice
dude,
pocket
and,
in my
and
T-shirt now from
dude,
Target.
it's amazing, and I just like I buy like 20 at a time, so I just wear the same T-shirt every day for work.
You're like Steve Jobs. You're like the
That's
just
the
like the
Target
pocket over
t-shirt.
here.
you got like
Instead of the
Simon
turtleneck.
Cowell.
Yeah,
I
just
only
like easy.
wear black shirts.
There you go. And yeah, I mean, punk rock is amazing, and that's pretty much what I listen to. I mean, I listen to a lot of music. I love R&B. I love jazz.
There's an
there's
element.
not a
There's an
there's
element
not
to
a single day.
that kind of that counterculture, a little bit of that element in kitchens.
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah.
that's the heart of kitchen. I mean, I
sure.
think the big
sure.
thing people knew about Bourdain, he always had either a Max Club Deuce shirt on or he had a
Yeah.
Ramones
Yeah.
shirt, with the
Yeah.
sleeves cut off and like that
Yeah.
kind of that room full of misfits, right? Like that
Yeah.
pirate ship.
And that's what it
in
is. The rise of the misfits. And that's what it is. It's just like it's kind of like it goes very well hand in hand. Of course, there's a lot of like destructive personalities and a lot of different dark things behind all those things. But
Of course.
for the most
Yeah.
for the most part, the way that like yeah, it's a very punk rocky vibe. It's a very edgy thing, and I like it. It keeps me on my toes. When I wake up and when I'm driving to the restaurant, I'm listening to that, and yeah, it's part of who I am, and it will ever be part of what I've done and what I do. Music is very, very important.
Pablo, we like to play a little game here where we pick three foods that are special to people, and we ask them to play Kiss, Marry, Kill.
Okay.
You remember the game Kiss, Marry, Kill?
No.
So there's something that you like enough to want to kiss it.
Okay.
There's something that you like enough to want to marry it,
Okay.
and then you got to kill
Something
one.
you gotta sacrifice.
You got to
Okay.
sacrifice one. So
Okay.
Kiss, Marry, Kill. So I'm going to give you
Okay.
three things, and I know you have a Colombian, Asian, and Mexican background. So I'm going to give you arepas,
Okay.
pork dumpling,
Okay.
and let's say a taco. Let's say a carnitas or a cochinito
Okay.
pibil taco. So if you have a
Okay.
taco, a pork dumpling, and an arepa, which one do you like enough to kiss? Which one do you marry? Which one do you kill?
I'll kill the arepa.
Wow, you'll kill the arepa. You're
Yeah.
Colombian. You can't say that.
I'm gonna say this right at the bat. I think the Venezuelan arepas are better than Colombian arepas.
Wow.
And I'm
Oh,
Colombian.
snap.
Yeah, that's big. I mean, it's just like no. There's arepa huevo Colombia. There's like egg inside, which is delicious. But yeah, I will kill the arepa. I will kiss the dumpling, and I will marry the taco.
Wow, very nice.
Wow.
So tell me about the arepas. And, for the folks who don't know, talk to me a little about the difference between the Venezuelan one and the Colombian one that you grew up with.
Well, I mean, Colombian arepas are usually just the arepa itself, which is made with the masa, with the corn masa,
Right.
and either they're filled with cheese or they're topped with cheese and a little bit of butter. There's different, of course, variations of the arepas. We have the arepa huevo, which is from the coast. That it's an arepa that has been fried and then has been opened, and then they put beef and raw egg on it. They close it back again and then they fry it again, which is delicious. And then there's like the other corn, like sweet corn arepa, almost like a cachapa, but not. And then Venezuelan arepas, which is pretty much the same dough, but they fill them with delicious things like reina pepiada, which is like with chicken and avocados, and they have pabellon, which has like beans and cheese and things of that nature.
Yeah, they're
It's just
sandwiches.
like,
They're
yeah,
little
They're
arepa
literally
sandwiches.
sandwiches. Yeah.
Which you know what?
exactly.
Which goes into my theory that like everything is a
Everything's a
sandwich.
sandwich.
Like
Correct.
an
You know,
arepa's a sandwich.
and my great grandmother, she was from Tampico, Mexico, and even though that she was very very Mexican, she rarely cooked Mexican food because she was married to a Spanish guy, so she was cooking more like Spanish food more than Mexican food. So I actually started like eating real like really tasty Mexican food to me at least when I came over here to live in the States. But yeah, I mean, tacos, Mexican food is my favorite food with Italian food. So I will definitely marry the tacos for sure.
Wow, so married to the taco, kiss
Yeah,
the pork dumpling,
I could see
and kill
that.
the
I would
arepa.
marry a taco.
I
yeah,
would.
man.
Let me ask you. Let me ask you before we have to let you go. So now that you've been nominated, has there been any kind of a shift in the restaurant and the reservations, or in anything since you've been nominated for a James Beard Award? Has it affected your business yet, or?
I mean, the thing is that it's so hard to tell because we've been so busy the past 4 months that, like I said before, we were kind of like capping the reservations. So it's not like we've seen, okay, the James Beard Award nomination came out, and then all of a sudden we were serving 30 people, now we're serving 300. We've been blessed enough to have a little bit of a following and to have like some steady business. So yes, the phone has been ringing a little bit more than ever. I also see the clicks on the website and the Google things and all the reports from all the other media outlets. There has been a spike of people kind of like researching what we do. We're still doing the same numbers that we were doing a month before or a month ago. Um, so I think that I just see it in the spirits from everybody. Like, I was prepping when I got the text message from a buddy from Eric Salt from Itame. He texted me congrats, and I had no idea what he was talking about. I was cutting chives at that moment, and it took me like a minute to actually just go and check my phone, and everyone was just like talking about it. I cried. Um,
Oh,
I stepped out for a second from the kitchen, and I just like cried. I called my wife, and then after that, I called Michael Beltran, and I cried even more. And it was just like to me, it was just like a really cool thing. It was always a dream, right? And I thought that dream was never going to be possible. We never intended to open a restaurant that we were like, okay, we want to be the best this and best that. And no, we just wanted to be the best version of what we could do and try to make sure that we're paying the bills and keeping people employed and growing the team and just putting the kids in school. That was the focus, right? And it was very shocking on a personal level. I still can't believe it. It was a dream. I didn't think that was going to happen so quick, which is good. We just got to make sure we maintain it. And when the whole staff came in that day, I told them just because we got this, it doesn't mean that like whatever got us here is not going to get us where we want to be. So don't change the way that you do things, and don't change the way that we operate because we just got James Beard nomination. Let's just keep doing the thing that we do every single day. And with a humble approach and with a hardcore approach and with just like hard work, that's the way that we do things. So yes and no, if you feel me. It's just more like a rewarding, like a personal thing. Again, that's something that at the end of the day, as long as there's people coming here and dining, and as long as everything else is taken care of. Give me 1 second, guys. Francisco, allá, la cocina. Gracias. Okay. Yeah, sorry. Delivery is a minute.
Always be working.
Yeah. So anyhow, yeah, it's rewarding. It's good. All the kids are really happy. All the line cooks are super stoked about it. Guido, our chef de cuisine, it's also his accomplishment. Yeah, everyone that puts like their soul in this restaurant and all the years that we've been working together. Like I have an employee that she's been with me for 9 years, another one that she's been with me for 10 years. So it's their accomplishment. And one of the cool things about everything is that it's a restaurant award. It's not a chef award, which I really, really like because it's just like, it's rewarding my dishwasher, is rewarding my hostess, is rewarding the bartender, the food runners, their purveyors. Like it's a collective effort,
So do you
and
think?
that's the most important thing for me.
So do you think now you'll actually get a sign? Are you gonna get a sign
No,
at the restaurant? No
no,
sign.
no, no.
You're just
We're
gonna
working out
stay.
without
You're
the
just gonna
sign.
stay. You're just gonna
No.
stay ensconced like a little armadillo back there in the
Well,
kitchen. A little.
no. The thing is that we are our location is so tricky, right? If if and this is something that we spoke with our amazing landlord because the guy is just amazing. Kudos to him too. It's we're inside of the building, so in order for us to put a sign, it needs to be on the front of the building. And the front of the building, we got HBO and we got Citibank and we got all these things. And the city of Florida is a little bit tricky with that.
HBO and Citibank don't have a James
Yeah,
Beard nomination.
No.
I know,
Take a break,
I know,
HBO.
I
Take a
know.
break, HBO. Oh yeah, well, Pablo, listen. I first of all, congratulations.
Thanks.
It's I'm sure very exciting for you guys, and
Yeah.
we're excited to have really a special and very unique kind of cuisine, and I really
Yeah.
appreciate you making the time to
No,
come
man,
on
thank
and talk
you.
about the whole journey.
No, thank you. And thank you also for the write up that you did on us a month ago. Thank you for supporting small restaurants, small businesses. I think that if you read the list, Miami is a force to be reckoned with. We have Itamai, we have Michael Beltran, Chef Michael Schwartz, Niven. I'm missing a bunch of people right now, but it's like even if we don't win or we are not finalists at the end of the day, it's just like it's rewarding to see how much growth the city has. And the fact that people like, Michael Beltran and Michael Schwartz and even the Itamai guys that have been nominated consistently for the past few years makes everyone around want to push even more.
Absolutely,
Um, so
absolutely.
with the support of the community and, with all the love and with everything that, we receive on a daily basis, the only thing that we can do is just like give it back. And that's what we try to do.
Well,
Yeah.
congratulations. Can't wait to
Right on.
see how it goes for you.
All
Keep
right,
doing it,
guys.
man. Keep doing
All
it,
right.
Pablo. Thanks
Thank you
again,
so
buddy.
much. All
Talk to
right.
you.
Bye bye.
Deuces. See that there's a guy who really man, just appreciates, kind of like following a passion, right, and ending up in this place where people recognize this
Well,
thing
I
that
have
you
to
did.
say that after 2 years of editing stories that were sad stories about closings, restaurants closings, and things that not coming back, and restaurant owners saying how difficult things were, like to see somebody who was able to eke out a path during the pandemic, and then once the pandemic kind of started to subside, he was able to actually find success. That's very, very encouraging. And so his story is really encouraging for restaurant owners in Miami, and I'm very, very happy for him.
Yeah, and it's nice to read about places. I think we're reading more about those places that found something that worked for them, and people that took a risk and did
Yeah.
something. I mean, everybody was really up against it, but these people that really were just kind of fighting, people are just fighting for their lives, for their
Yep.
livelihoods,
Yep.
and to come out on the other side with something that is rewarding financially, but also kind of, a passion, that's pretty special.
All right, well, listen, before we go, I need to tell everybody that we're still doing we're doing our name your best your favorite croqueta place. The link is I'll put the link on our Twitter and all of the places again. We are looking for Miami's favorite croqueta. So, everybody needs to go in and vote because we need to know the definitive answer. Miami's best croqueta, who makes it?
Yeah, I'm curious to see it. We've seen basically you can just nominate places, and then we're going to put a list together of the top 16 or 32. I don't think we've decided yet, and then let people vote
Well, it
on
depends
those.
on how many people vote, so
It's just going to be like the Octagon. It's going to be like Mad Max. Everybody come in and fight
come
for
in
the
and
best
vote
croqueta.
for your croqueta.
Yeah, I know which some of my favorites are, so
Oh,
we'll
me
see
too.
if any of them show up on the list ultimately. Well, Amy, I believe that is a show. Thanks
Yeah,
for
well, I can't wait
joining
to
us
hear
here.
your report on Smorgasburg. That sounds like it's going to be pretty cool.
It does sound like it's definitely unique. So I'm curious to see how they pulled it all together.
Yeah, my
And-
girlfriend Susie's daughter's got a place there. It's called Dos Amigos. So it's cool. Like, she's a kid from Kendall who's been working in kitchens and doing pop-ups all around, the neighborhoods, and she's got a booth there. That's awesome. I mean, it's a great opportunity for local chefs to get their name out there.
It's all local people, so that'll be really interesting to check out and see how people respond to it, and where people end up after they've made their pop-ups.
For sure.
That'll be interesting. All right, Amy, that's a show. Great
All right, I'm
talking
gonna
with
go
you
eat
about
now.
it. Go. I know you've been intermittent fasting. Me too. So we're gonna go finally break our fast.
All right. See you next week.
See ya. Peace out.